What is up, y'all? It is Jerry from Team Unco Studios, back again with another MPC Beats, very basic tutorial for you all using the MPC Beats software. I am so pumped to make this video today. We're finally back at Team Unco Studios, actually making a video for everyone. Like, this is super exciting. We've had so much going on lately with doing session work, and we've been doing sound jobs for the community, like doing live sound. There's so much going on right now. So we will keep you all updated with different things that we've got going on and projects we have working that we are going to be adding to the YouTube channel, all right? But for now, let's focus on this MPC Beats tutorial. So today we are going to be working on more of a technique than we actually are like making any kind of music or anything like that. The technique has to do with exporting stems. Now, we all know how to export, our MIDI and audio tracks, right? Just by, going to file, saying, I want to export, how do you want to export it, and all that, right? We know how to do that already. This technique I'm going to show you has to do with how to be able to do it and then just drag your audio or MIDI file directly over to a DAW, kind of timeline, and you can play it immediately. You won't have to make a folder and all of that, Now, why would this be helpful? This is helpful in an instance where you, let's say, have a session going on and you guys got a couple of guitars down and you just want maybe like just a kick, on the back, just or something, right? Just anything, just kind of give it some flavor. This way you can go to your MPC Beats, where I like to create a lot of my drums and my beats, use that MIDI grid and just create quickly and then drag that stem or stems over to your, DAW that you are working your guitar on, Now, I don't use MPC Beats just as my standard DAW to mix and all that. I create on MPC Beats. Studio One has been my DAW that I got certified in learning how to use that DAW, so that is what I primarily use for all my mixing and everything. I will bring my stems to that when I get into that process. So that is what I'm going to be running as the secondary DAW, okay? I know it sounds a little bit confusing, but we're gonna jump into this, all right? So I hope you all like the video. Let's get it. All right, y'all, so if you take a look up at the screen here, you'll notice I've just got, a blank MPC Beats kind of thing open here. I am going to be using in this tutorial Moto drums as the drums that I'm going to be carrying over to my Studio One, which I've got some tracks up there I'm going to show you right now. But yeah, I've just got my Moto drums here. I'm using the MPC Studio, so you can hear. There's my drums coming out there, okay? I will be making some more videos showing me using the controller. I know people have been asking about that. Hey, can you have a camera for your controller? We're gonna get another GoPro in here, and we will start taking video of me actually hitting the controller too as well, and some of the different controller functions for the MPK Mini and for the MPC Studio, okay? But we are going to be using, like I said, the Moto drums for this particular little session we're going to do here. Okay, so if you notice, I've also got my Studio One up here. So I've just got a little song here that I just kind of created really quickly. It's nothing big. Got a little bass in there. Okay, I've got everything kind of labeled out here. So you can see I've kind of got everything labeled here, guitar one, guitar two. I put a couple little guitar layers. I put a little bass line there, okay? Nothing major. There's no mix on this or anything, This is just a kind of little, creative thing I did just to explain the tutorial, okay? So you'll notice a couple of things. I've labeled everything. We want to make sure to keep things organized so we can find stuff, all right? And then you'll also notice I set a metronome here, okay? This is important because it's what we're going to sync everything up to. Now, let's say this is a session I'm having. We're in here, we're doing this, and I want to put some drums to it really quickly. But I don't want to use, the stuff that I have on my Studio One. I'd rather go somewhere where I've got better drum sets and stuff like MPC Beats. So what I would do in this case is I would open up another, DAW in the background here. So if I minimize this, you'll see now I have both DAWs open here, right? Okay, I've got my Studio One here, and then I've got MPC Beats here, okay? Now, the cool part about having these two and being able to go back and forth between them is I can actually have one playing. So if I go back here and go ahead and play this track, and then go to my MPC Beats, and I can actually rehearse what I'm doing simultaneously. Pretty cool thing when you're producing in the recording studio, okay? So let's go ahead and come back to this really quick and go ahead and play this track. Now I'm gonna bounce back over to MPC Beats and kind of get an idea of what drums kind of go to this here. Okay, so I've got an idea, you know, kind of a general idea of what I want to do with the drums and how I, you know, want to make them try to fit this metronome, just to kind of, you know, get that idea out there for me and whoever's creating the song, you know, if we're happy to just be kind of getting into this quick workflow, okay? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my MPC Beats here, and I'm going to want to make sure a couple of things. Thing number one, that my metronome is set to 95 right here, because that is what the song was written in, was 95 BPM, all right? We're going to go ahead and go into our main mode here, which shows this track that I'm about to lay some drum MIDI down for right now, okay? And then the last thing we want to remember is, if we go and just go into our full screen here for our MPC Beats, I want to remember how long I'm going to want this, okay? So if, again, I go back to my Studio One here, okay? Where's my Studio One? Oops. There we go. Okay, if I go back to Studio One, I can see that I've got about, you know, maybe 14 bars here of song, okay? So I'm going to cut the drum beat off probably at 13, but I'm going to do 16 bars of drum beat, okay? So I'm going to make sure to duplicate this, you know, 16 bars worth before I drag it over. That is an important step, okay? So when we export it, we got the full 16 bars, and then we can, you know, edit it here on Studio One, all right? So let's go ahead and go back to our MPC Beats page, okay? So now I've got my MPC Beats up, all right? I've got my drums rocking and rolling. I've got 95 BPM here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just lay 2 bars down first of the beat, all right? So we're gonna go Shift R. It's gonna give us a 4 click, and then we're gonna come in, all right? Here we go. Okay, we'll lay down maybe a little, hi-hat. Okay, so we got some hi-hat in there. Maybe we'll add a kind of like a little open hi-hat here. Okay, and that sounds, you know, fine for what we need. We're not trying to like make Grammy hits here. We're just trying to get some drums onto our idea so we can kind of hear it with drums, so that when the drummer comes in to do it live, we'll know kind of an idea of what we want him to do, all right? So now that we've got that going there, we're gonna wanna duplicate this, okay? So again, if you remember from the tutorials, we're gonna go to edit here, we're gonna go down to our sequence, and we're gonna go to double the length, all right? Then I'm also gonna double the length again, so I'm just gonna do this process a couple of times here, okay? And then I'm gonna go edit and go sequence and double the length one more time. And now I should have 16 bars here, if you will notice where I'm circling, okay? So I want this whole thing going over with me right here, all right? So now, in order to stay in a good workflow, like I said, we're gonna go bounce back over to our Studio One here, and I'm gonna go ahead and open a new track here, all right? So I'm gonna go down to the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and open a drum track here, okay? Just one track. And I'm gonna bring this up to the top of everything because I like my drums to be on the top of my workflow. I'm gonna change this color to what I normally go with here for my drums, all right? So now I've got a line that I'm gonna paste my drums to right now, okay? So once we go back over here to MPC Beats here, all right? I now can go to this little icon right here, and I'm going to zoom in. If you notice these two little guys here, this is my export audio and this is my export MIDI. And what this is going to do is it's going to allow me to take this and export it into a basic kind of little file that it's going to hold here in this little icon. And then I will be able to drag this over to my Studio One. All right. So if I go ahead and hit this little guy, you're going to notice it's going to start to process my MIDI. All right. So we're going to go ahead and let it do that. Now it's processed my 16 bars. I'm going to go ahead and go back here, and I'm going to go ahead and see my timeline there of my drums. And I'm just going to click on this export audio and drag it over onto my timeline. And there's my 16 bars right there. Okay. Now it's important to make sure to sync this up with the starting bar of your track over here. Okay. So if I kind of come out a little bit here and I make sure that this is lined up with where the song starts, in theory, I should be able to have a full song. So if I go back here and I start, I should have my drums and all of my audio here. So here we go. And that's how you do that. And it's not the greatest. There might be some parts where it's off a little bit. This is where mixing comes in. You kind of correct things and make things, kind of, sound a little bit different, and, maybe adjust some things and, make some cut copies and, just little things like that. We can go ahead and take the metronome out too, and now just be able to listen to the full track. And then if I kind of mute the drums here, you could be able to start, already kind of thinking inside your head how I'm going to edit this and kind of make it a whole thing. All right. So I hope this was helpful, you all. These are just little techniques that, I like to show you all to just kind of help your workflow when you're creating with inside MPC beats, but also with inside other DAWs. All right. So again, like I said, I hope this was helpful, you all. We will see you on the next video. Peace and love from all of us here at Team Unco Studios, and we'll see y'all later. Bye.